Hello, everybody, and welcome to tonight's Malty Monday. Tonight, we are doing a beer that actually has three different pronunciations. It's either a triple, a tripel, or a tripel, I've heard it called.
Tripel?
Yes, a tripel. So I have my awesome panel with me tonight. We have to my left, my right, but my left.
You got to point to the
Well,
left.
he's right here. We got Anthony from Life is Beautiful.
Hey, everybody.
Beer Man.
So,
We got Miscellaneous Magnets down in sunny Florida. And then we got Thomas Metal 75, a.k.a. Eric.
what's up?
So as I do, I'm just going to go ahead and read through some of the scripture I found on the style, which I am just going to refer to as a Tripel for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
All right, share, yes. So the overall impression of the Tripel is a pale, somewhat spicy, dry, strong Trappist ale with a pleasant, rounded malt flavor and firm bitterness. Quite aromatic with spicy, fruity, and light alcohol notes, combining with the supportive, clean malt character to produce a surprisingly drinkable beverage considering the high alcohol level. Comments on this one: it's high in alcohol, but does not taste strongly of alcohol. And the best examples are sneaky, not evasive, and high carbonation and attenuation helps to bring out the many flavors and to increase the perception of a dry finish. Most Trappist versions have at least 30 IBUs and are very dry, traditionally bottle conditioned or re-fermented in the bottle. Just gives the commercial examples. For these styles, we should be looking anywhere between 7.5 to 9.5 ABV with a bitterness level of 20 to 40. And a nice golden color for most. All right. So that does it for that. I just want to say thank you to the chat we got going on. We got John and Ellie in the chat. We got Brandon from Craft Beer Force. Malika! Cheers, everyone, says John Nelly. Brewski's number one fan. Guess that's not really Brewski. He says cheers all. Thomas Middles says cheers to Drew. Bearman also says cheers to Drewski's number one fan. So we all brought Tripel tonight. One that I'm not drinking. I have already done a video on this one, but it's what we're looking at. I had a St. Bernard's Tripel. It's a very good beer. But I'm not doing that one tonight. I'm going to come up last, so I'll show what I'm doing. Right now, we're going to move over to Life is Beautiful. Anthony, he's going to show us what he's got, and also if he has any extra, information on the Trappist and Tripel style, feel free to fill that in. Going big.
All right, no problem. So real quick, just going into a little bit of the history of the triple, I was hella surprised by its relatively short history. Technically, the style originated in the lowland countries, which would be Belgium and the Netherlands, all the way back in the Middle Ages, but there was no real style line guide, like characteristics. There was no definitive definition. It literally came down to either being the third strongest beer that the brewery offered or being the beer that used triple the amount of ingredients for a normal beer brew day. So you would have it in all different types of flavors, all different types of aromas, all different types of sensory characteristics. It wasn't really until the 1930s when the BuMpY brewery released a triple pale beer that was in order to compete with the massive influx of German and Czech pale lagers like the Pilsner that was taken over. He really wanted to keep Belgian beer Belgian. So he produced this new style that was a lot stronger, a lot hoppier, and it was all brewed with pale malts. And that is essentially where the modern day definition of what a Tripel became. So anyways, moving on into the beer that I will be doing, it is a Le Trappe. It is the Le Trappist Tripel coming out of the Koningshoving Trappist Brewery in the Netherlands. And oh shit, almost dropped my glass.
Oh no. Oh.
Oh,
That was almost a nightmare. Anyways, let's go ahead and crack on into it. I did pick this one up directly from the Trappist Brewery. The monks were super nice. They offer free tours and all that stuff. So super cool people. You just can't understand anything they say because it's all in Dutch.
wow.
All right, so you can see it's got a massive 1, 2, 3 finger head, a bit wispy, bit rocky, a lot of large bubbles going on there, but a nice, beautiful khaki color, gorgeous gold body, insane carbonation, tons of big, fat, chunky bubbles just rushing up to the top. Absolutely gorgeous, exactly what you're looking for in this style. The nose, you get that intense spice, that coriander, that fresh cracked pepper, but you also get that apple peel and that banana that you're looking for out of a traditional like Belgian and Trappist style yeast strain. It's not as deep or complex as you would find in a lot of different triples, so it is a little disappointing, and that head retention was not lasting along very good. It was pretty abysmal. Anyways, let's move on to the taste. All right, very malty. It does have a little bit of a drying characteristic, but I attribute that a lot to the hop characteristics that are going on. It is a little bit more bitter than you would expect out of your normal Belgian style beers because the triple does have so much more hops going on inside of it compared to your quad or your double. It's malty. Unfortunately, I do have to say it has a bit of a soapy characteristic, a touch of like an oxidized copper, but it kind of rounds itself out with like a fresh baked apple pie flavor. So really digging it. Dry, crisp,
Wow.
mouthfeel, nice, smooth, except for that insane static at the tip of your tongue. So overall, I would say it's a pretty dang good beer.
Awesome. We'll come back around with how well you score that one.
Absolutely.
And we're gonna bump over to Bear Man. He's out in like what, Oregon or something.
Yeah. Oh, again.
Going from
How's it
Germany
going, guys?
to Oregon.
From Germany to Oregon. Thank you, BuMpY. I appreciate it. Appreciate you letting me be here. Great review. Holy moly. Wow. You like struck it perfect, like on point. Woo! That like was like fire going across my mind. Like I was, like that was amazing. That was amazing, dude. Wow. I'm already I can't even think straight. This is I'm serious. That was awesome. This is a Tripel. This is Brug's Tripel Ale. It's a Straf Hendrik de Hafman Brewery. It's kind of funny. I know 1856, I guess, is there when they first began. It's a 9% and 11.2 fluid ounce bottle. Yeah, Straf Hendrik. I have this with my beer and cheese. I figured I'd have it for this. It's all they had to offer, so let's go ahead and open this up. Smoke on the bottle there, smoke on the water. Holy shit, that's heavy as far. Wow. I mean, I barely even started. I should have gotten a bigger glass.
All right, moving on to Thomas Metal.
This only take 5 hours.
Let's go with the 2-finger head. Ooh, it's malty. It's even got like an apple cider vinegar smell to it. Malty, apple cider vinegar.
That's what you said.
A light fruit. There's a light fruitiness coming out of it. It's really it's very overwhelming with that freaking vinegar smell, man. It's got kind of a like a light, like a white head. Let's say a white head with like kind of an apricot tinge to it. It's apricot looking or like peachy looking, very hazy. It's a medium to fast rising bubble. It is kind of soapy on the head, kind of frothy in a way as well. Seems like it's sticking well on the sides. Legs look nice. What is it, 9%? Yeah, 9%. Looks very like peachy. All right, let's taste it.
Cheers.
Cheerios.
It's very, very. It's very poppy with that. The carbonation is very poppy on the tongue. It is very. It's kind of an apricot taste. This is very apricot-y. Sweet caramel, malt, apricot, peach. A little woodiness coming out of this. A little herbaceous woodiness.
Woo.
Um,
Herbaceous wood. All right.
Very nice. And it goes back strong in the back and then kind of like a dry, bitter dryness in the back in the finish. It's a longer finish. It actually lets you taste a lot of it. It's very nice. It has a little booziness that goes up at the end. Very good. I'm very pleased with this. This is very tasty. It's kind of like that. It's like apricot leather. The what the hell do you like fruit roll up? Like it's like a dried apricot or something. I know it's weird. Very stone fruity, but in the dried form. The dehydrated form, should I say? Nice. It's very good. Cheers.
Awesome.
Cheers. All right, we will be back around again with everybody's thoughts and feelings, final arguments and everything like that on their brews. We're going to move off to Thomas Metal 75 because we did lose miscellaneous, so he's changed spots.
Sorry about that.
Ghosty Doe, turn me around again. Here we go. Well, I just hit the wrong button. I gotta now add him back. Oh, there you're back. We're still going to Thomas Metal because I accidentally removed him from stream.
Okay.
And brought him back in. He's going.
All right, here we go. I'm gonna take, no, I'm joking.
Oh,
One
pre-drinking.
is the Allagash Tripel. That is Allagash Brewing Company in Portland, Maine. This one says bottled on the 23rd of January, 2020. This one wins all kinds of awards all the time, and it is utilizing their 2-row malted barley blend from Allagash and a local pale malt, Nugget Hallertau, and a house yeast strain. They say if you get a 750 milliliter bottle, that should last you up within 2 years. Drink it within 2 years. And this single, the little bottles here, the 12-ounce ones, is about 1 year. This is 9% alcohol by volume. The 750 milliliters, for some reasoning, are 9.2. This is a 9.3 out of 100 beer. So I bought this. It wasn't in the cooler or anything, but I did try to show down the glass with a couple of ice cubes for the last 15 or so minutes. So yeah, mine is kind of looking a little bit paler than Mr. Beerman. It's not quite as apricot looking, more like a darker kind of a Pilsner or a gold, maybe more like a Belgian golden ale, with a very nice, lacy looking, kind of sudsy head. Lots of carbonation in my glass, and I can see all kinds of very small particulate, definitely hazy. Yeah, maybe like an apple cider, kind of a vinegar, kind of a note to that one. Definitely got that horse blanket feel to it. Definitely a lot of, what did they say? It was that malted barley. Definitely, I'm getting that smell. I'm getting almost a crisp kind of a smell to it, and Pilsner malt. That's what I was trying to look for. But it has a little bit of 9%, not a whole bunch, and it's definitely got your baking spices, but no cinnamon. So cheers. A lot of white peppercorn. Cheers.
Cheers.
Nice. Cheers.
A little warmer than I would want beer, but this is actually not so bad at that temperature. I'm getting a lot of that apple note to it. A lot of that apple cider vinegar, very low in the vinegar as compared to the nose. Super dry beer for what it is. I'm getting a little bit of that pale malty sweetness, maybe a little bit of honey towards the end of the sip. There is a considerable amount of bitterness, but it's definitely done for rounding out some of the sweetness in there. Definitely nice white bread, toasty note. Medium-bodied towards full on the medium side. Again, it's crisp. It's clean. It's actually pretty refreshing, just like with the Belgian-style golden ales and something like a Duvel. Very deceiving, the alcohol style percentage. So you could almost drink this like, I don't know, you could drink this like a higher, and it tastes like a higher ABV, almost like lager beer or something like that. So watch out with caution, but there's definitely more fruitiness than lager beer. This was $11.49 for the 4-pack. So yeah, that's a pretty good deal for a really good beer. So far, so good. And yes, definitely the white peppercorn is showing through. Cheers.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah. So from there, we're just going to say welcome to One Cast, One Fish, who just joined up in the chat. Thank you for joining in and watching. And I am going to push this over to Miscellaneous, and he's going to show off what he has brought.
All right, guys. So what's going on? I didn't get anything too fancy. I just went and got the Golden Monkey by Victory. I had this beer before. I wanted to go back to it and try it again. It's 9.5 APV, Belgian style. So I don't know. Let's see. It's got Pilsner malts, Tenang hops. It's canned February 5th, 2020. So pretty fresh. All right. Lot of bubbles in there, just like everybody else is saying. I've got small and medium, large rising bubbles. Had a good head. It's looks soapy. It's fading very quickly. This beer is very clear. I can see perfectly through it. I could probably read a book through it. So it's got a pretty nice color to it. Definitely on the smell. Again, definitely getting bananas. It's got a little citrus in there. I don't think it's coriander that I'm smelling. It smells more like cloves. Not cinnamony, but definitely getting some clove out of it. Head's gone, as to be expected. So let's go ahead and try it again.
Cheers.
Sure.
I like it a lot better this go around. Could be the date of the beer. It is sweet. Not very carbonated and a heavy poppy on the tongue. Definitely a banana. You're getting the clove.
Ooh.
For sure. It's nice and mellow though. It's not like, because clove is very strong. They seem to have used it in a good way. Like I said, I've had some experience with clove, and it's really easy to go overboard. So very light bodied beer. It is crisp, very clean tasting. Definitely did enjoy it a lot better this go around than the last time I had it. Glad I came. Cool.
Glad
Cheers,
to have
guys.
Yeah.
Cheers. Cheers, all. This is Thrash
Cheers,
Metal.
yeah.
Welcome aboard.
Definitely has a great drinkability though. For a 9.5, it is not boozy. Dangerously sessionable taste. Other than that, it's very well rounded. It stays with you. It says it's supposed to dry off quick. I'm not getting that. I'm getting the flavors and it's sticking there. much better experience this time. So
you're happy your wife grabbed it for you.
Yeah, this is the last one on the shelf. Like I said, I had it before, and I wasn't real impressed with it. I had been drinking, so like I said, I thought my palate was muddied, and I would go back to it. I go back to a lot of the ones that I don't like off the get-go, just to see. It could have been an older beer. So yeah, I'm content.
Nice. I'm going to say cheers to keep sipping. Yeah, I can understand the overwhelming feelings and stuff right now with everything that is going on, plus the kids being home nonstop. But it's snowing out, so don't worry. Tomorrow would have been a snow day anyways, right? So kids are home, so you don't have to homeschool because it's snowing.
Yeah. They're actually getting ready to start that.
So what I am bringing, it's not the St. Bernardus Tripel. I've already had this one. Done a tasting video on my own channel before. I grabbed it again because I went to find a different Tripel, and because of the COVID-19 thing, there wasn't any real imports coming in, and they only had this one on the shelf. But then I got a call from a friend of mine who said that Backyard, had some of their brews out in cans and stuff, and swing by there. And it turns out that they actually had a Tripel of their own, and it's called Labatt 400 Backyard Brewery. So this is local. They're out of Manchester, New Hampshire, and this Belgian Tripel comes in at 9% ABV. Try not to build as big of a head as Beer Man.
Shot in the
My glass is bigger. It might be
Pretty
just
close.
But anyways, the bubbles on this are pretty small, tight. There are some medium ones building up in there. Fairly white head. The coloration of the beer itself is a gold. I'm just going to go with gold. It looks a lot lighter on my end, but that's because the light's coming this way. So it almost looks straw colored gold on here, but I can definitely see on the camera and on this side of the beer, it is that nice gold coloration like you guys are seeing. Very, very clear. Lots of carbonation bubbles streaming up through as well. So the aromas. So there is a little bit of a cloviness to this one. It's like banana, but it's not like super banana-esque. It's almost like a banana bread. So there's like some malty notes coming up, some bready malt notes coming up with like a little bit of the banana ester, and it smells kind of more like a spicy banana bread with some clove. And it smells sweet. So going in for the first swig, cheers. So I get kind of the sweetness almost from like a candy sugar type deal going on. Bready notes do come up. Bit of the banana type flavors as well, but it still mixes in. It's not like super banana. It's still mixing in well with that bread note. So it's still coming off as like a banana bread type flavor, mostly with the malt and the banana. But it is on the sweeter side with some of those like kind of candy sugar type notes sneaking in there. Body on this one feels like it's on the medium or higher side of medium. It's got a bit of a stickiness in the mouth. It does actually do a bit of a drying effect as well. Set the finish kind of on the earthy notes with the hops. Balancing bitterness though, just to kind of knock down some of that sweetness that I first talked about. It does have a pretty spritzy, I'd say high side medium carbonation to low side high carbonation level in this. There's fizz on the tongue and the palate. And it's definitely an easy drinker at 9%. No real alcohol flavors detected. Not even really a warming effect going on. But I think with the way the body feels and some of the flavors that are coming through, it definitely hits you like it's a bigger beer. Like you can tell this isn't like a 5 or 6% beer. You can tell it's higher up in ABV, even though it's not doing the alcohol notes and the warming in the chest or anything. So yeah, I think it's a good mark if you can hide an alcohol note in a beer. So I'm going to bring this back to the full panel. We'll say hello to the chat again, and then we'll go over our scoring of the brew.
I just wanted to add, BuMpy, like what you said on your beer is like exactly what I'm hitting on my beer. It's definitely more banana bready on the nose, and the more that I'm tasting it, that was a great way to describe, because ours are both more banana tasting, and I definitely get that. It does have the bready quality to it. So
I get I always like the Victory Golden Monkey. I think that one's a little bit more on the banana side with the esters than what I have. I like kind of more of the balance that this one is. Like I said, it melds in a bit more with that kind of bread note. So it's not as like super banana forward. Like I really love banana forward, like Hefeweizens. So like Paulaner is like one of my favorite Hefeweizens to get. That one's like super banana. But yeah, this one's just died down a little bit on the banana from what the Victory one is, and I do think I like that. It's that's just an easy drinker, pretty much.
yeah, I got no legs.
Nothing offensive about it, and yeah, I think they did a good job on it. We got the chat. Where did I leave off? I don't know. Okay, I think I got it. Your Tripel awesome sauce, Brian. Laugh out loud, says Thrash. One cast, one fish, says hi, and he doesn't have a Tripel either. John and Ellie, now the main event. Here I am. His shots are fired, and embarrassment for me. Was that bad? It died right down. See, Thrash has an IPA from last Christmas. Oh, and Alex the Bear I got it. Alex the Bear Master Pour. But cheers, guys. Beer Barbecue Baseball joins in. Says, what's up, guys? JC's Adventure 89 also says hello to everyone. And John and Ellie has a story right there. You guys can just read that. But now we're going to move on to our thoughts, feelings, scores, whatever you feel like doing with your time to talk about the beer that you brought tonight. So we'll go with the first one up was Anthony.
All right. So again, I'm drinking La Trappe Triple from the Koningshoven Trappist Brewery in the Netherlands. I'm not gonna lie. Initially, I was actually gonna I was gonna slam it pretty hard because I wasn't really loving some of the flavors I was getting out of it. That oxidized copper was a huge no-no for me. However, over the course of me drinking this beer, it's warmed up a little bit. It's got a little more oxidation on it, and it's actually caused the flavors to open up pretty spectacularly. A lot more of that spice came through. The cinnamon, the hops came through a little bit more floral and fruity. The malt itself became a little more toasted cereal. Unfortunately, also the alcohol started showing through a little bit more. It's 8% ABV, so I mean that's reaching into your bigger beers. So overall, I would say even though it is like the Trappist beer, which should be setting the standard for it, I gotta say it's pretty middle of the road for me. It's not bad by any means, but I've honestly had way better triples from their fellow Trappist breweries. Also, even better ones from the American craft beer scene. So I do think this one is good to have. Just I don't know. I'm not loving it. So if I had to put a number score on it, I would say it is in the low 80s for me. I'd say like 83.
Wow.
Sorry. Classic, but just not that great. I mean, you would be much better spending your money on a higher quality product. But that's my final say on it.
Yeah, it is. I muted you, Anthony. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Shut down by the man.
As your government, I am acting upon your greatest, what I feel is best for you.
Bravo, Nancy. Bravo.
Bear Man, what do you think of yours?
Man, I mean, everything I said was great.
Hungry. All right.
Everything
was
I
good,
said
but-
was great.
As it's warmed up, man, let me tell you, cherry, dates, and caramel. The cola Dr. Pepper came out. It was as it warmed up, it got really boozy. And thanks to you, Jesse, saying that, the candy sugar kind of takes effect. That sugary Belgian candy, very sweet and candy-like, very caramely-esque, very nice. As it warmed, it actually got better and more like a red wine, something that would taste better to sip on and actually chill with your wife or girlfriend, on Valentine's Day or whatever the fuck you're doing. It's just it's a very romantic beer to me. It's very nice. I like it.
Romantic beer.
This was made well. I'm definitely going to give this 2 thumbs up and give it 5 all across the chart. I've been very nice lately with a lot of the beers I've been trying, and this is just another one of those nice beers. So a 5. I mean, a 5 out of 5 on my chart, 100 easily for a Tripel. Definitely look up that one.
Number 2, people.
Nice.
So,
I can bring that up actually if you want to show that bottle again. Go ahead.
oh no,
Vadel.
Yeah, look at that one. It's got a half a moon.
That's a classic.
100%.
Classic beer.
The Half Man Brewery.
The Hoffman.
David Hasselhoff Brewery.
Yeah.
Slow motion.
Boozy as shit. It's getting me all brandy.
So it's a toss up. Thomas Metal, you want to go miscellaneous?
Yeah,
Either one of you
I
can
do feel that.
jump in and talk about it.
This was a 93 on Beer Advocate, the Allagash Tripel. It's at least a 90 out of 100. This one's really good. If it were from the beer fridge at the store, which it was not, I think it would be a little bit less boozy than it is, even though it's really not that boozy on the flavor. I think it'd be less boozy and less sweet overall. But that's a very nice quality to it. It's got really good. It's almost reminding me of a bigger version of like a saison or like a farmhouse ale. So if you want more intensity and you want more malty flavors, you want more bitterness to your saisons or your farmhouse ales, this Tripel would be a great one to try, and pretty much a lot of Tripels would be a great one to try. This is just so smooth and easy to drink. I do think, again, for any knock, it's a tad sweet on mine for my liking all the time. But I think that's more of the characteristic of the style rather than it's a fault of that beer. So this is a great one to try. Allagash just makes really good traditional Belgian style beers, and go get you some. Cheers.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, this is my second time I've gone back to this beer. First time I tried it, I honestly did not care for it at all. It turned me off. The flavor, the banana was way more funky. And the first time I tried this, now I really like this. I just opened another can, and when the head was still there, I was getting some of the sour smelling, fermented kind of coming off of it. It does have I wouldn't say like a barnyard quality at all. More, I wouldn't even like to say hay. The malts are coming out. It's not horse blankety. I really enjoyed this. I didn't get on Beer Advocate. I'm on my phone. If I was on my PC, I could look up and have more information. But coming back to this, for the brewery that it is and the availability that it has for most people, I would probably score this a 93 out of 100. I enjoyed it. It's much different than the one that I usually enjoy. So, like I said, I am getting the banana breadiness out of it, as you stated, BuMpy, and the cloves actually seem to work well with it. Like I said, the cloves aren't too overpowering, and it works well together. Nice and mellow. Definitely enjoyed it this go round. Glad I went back to it and tried it again.
Awesome. I do have to say I'm glad that you scored yours a 93 out of 100, because I did say on mine I like the Victory Golden Monkey, and I do actually, like I said, I think I prefer this one a little bit more than the Victory Golden Monkey, not just because it's local. It's not a favoritism thing. I actually drink beer based off. Though. Yeah, I do it based off of how the beer makes me feel. I don't care if it comes from California, Nova Scotia, wherever it comes from. If it's a great beer, it's a great beer. This one, the Batch 400 from Backyard Brewery, to me, is a 94 out of 100. So,
94, nice.
One notch above what the Victory was scored by Miscellaneous, and like I said, I prefer this one just a little bit over the Victory Golden Monkey for my own palate. I do like the Victory Golden Monkey though, so
that's awesome. I'll have to keep my eye out for that. What you had?
Yeah, I don't think they'll be distributing down there anytime soon, but yeah, shout out to Nova Scotia.
Got a point there.
Oh, so we all went through our scoring. Tripels overall, or triples, or triples.
Tripel.
Right.
How do you guys? I'm just throwing this one off the cuff of my sleeve right now. So spontaneous combustion right now. Where do they fall with you? Like, as far as like, are these beers that you enjoy drinking, or are they kind of just I'm here because it's something that's different right now?
Not gonna lie, Tripel, not my favorite beer style. I don't think there's anything wrong with it at all. But if I was going to drink any of your classic Abbey ales, I would put it at the absolute bottom. I mean, the Einkel or Single is delicious in its own unique way, and of course, I am obsessed with the Quad. But what I will say is, for being as young of a style as it is compared to European terminology, it still holds its own. It's just it's more of an afterthought. If I go to any Belgian brewery that's producing traditional Belgian beers, I'm not like got to get that triple. I'm more about the quads, you know. So it's okay. I dig it. It's its own unique thing. It's just, you know, whatever.
Elevator, tomato. I think it's an imperial drinking experience as compared to a lot of traditional Belgian farmhouse ales, table beers. And I'm noticing that the style, now that I've had this one, and I've had a couple in the past, very carbonated. So you better like almost a champagne, maybe even higher than that spritzy effervescence to it. So it's somewhere between like an imperial kind of what it's really reminding me of is an imperial farmhouse ale with a little bit more hops and malts, almost like a pale ale version of a 9% farmhouse ale. So if that appeals to you, and it sounds like it could to most people, get you one and see what you think. When you
I'm gonna piggyback right off what Thomas Metal 75 just said. Eric, I'm not sure I just call you Eric, but I'm trying to go by your channel name that you have up. I actually enjoy most saisons. I can't say all of them because I can't even say I enjoy every single beer from every single style because sometimes there's wampas out there that are just nasty. But a lot of saisons I've had, I do enjoy a lot of the flavors. You know, the farmhouse, the coarse blanket, the mildewy type notes, and sometimes you get some of those harsh notes in some of them. So I really enjoy a nice saison, and yeah, maybe that's why the Tripel is one of my more favored Belgian styles. I'm not a big quad or Dubel or double, lover. Those are ones that just like all the flavors I like in those, but for some reason, when it's all just combined, it's just I don't know, it's just too much for my liking. It's almost like I don't know. My wife makes like a turkey soup sometimes, right? It's delicious. It's pretty good. I love everything about the turkey soup. But when I eat it, I feel like I have the flu. I know that's what like the quad does to me. It's like I enjoy all the flavors, but there's just something that makes me feel not so right inside. So we can move on to something else after that.
Wow, man.
This isn't bad, I like this style of beer. I would like to. I always try to keep a couple in my fridge. My wife likes the Sour Monkey, which ranks in at 9.5 as well, percent. But these are good. Like if you had a long day and you got to cut and get to the chase, and you want to have a decent beer, you can have one of two of these to start your night, and then switch down to something much lighter. This, like I said, this wasn't as carbonated as the rest of you guys were talking about yours. The other one that I do enjoy, the Sour Monkey, is very carbonated, poppy, crisp on the tongue. There's a lot going on. I really enjoy that one. My wife does too. The sessionability of these beers is great with me. I mean, they do not taste boozy at all. For like if I went and got let's say a 9.5 stout from the store, could have a more boozy quality. But this is definitely an easy drinking style of beer. Depending, I don't have an import, so just depends on who's making it, what they're making it with, yada yada.
Chug a quad. Crash Metal says chug a quad.
Chug a quad. So if you guys want to chit chat for a while, if you want to start trying to come up with 4 different styles for next time, I'm gonna go take a quick BuMpY leak. So I'm gonna currently leave this up to you guys. It's still live. Do what you want, but we do have to try to come up with 4 different styles at some point, whether we're doing it live or we're doing it off screen. But talk amongst yourself, and once again, cheers to the chat. I'll be right back to do all the closing stuff. But I am about to go, so I gotta go.
Go urine, man. Go.
I'll say I was rather impressed with how similar we all said our characteristics were. I mean, we were all pretty much ballpark within it. Sometimes you pick up like a IPA or a saison or something, you could be swinging out a left field, completely different flavor, characteristics, mouthfeel, all that stuff. I would say that out of every beer that was reviewed here tonight, we were all pretty much on the same board.
Yeah, within the same realm. Yeah, for real. That was fun.
I wish I could have really got to the store and got an import. I try to stay out of that aisle. It's very expensive, and I don't understand all of what it says. Just where at the big store that I go to, they have. I mean, it's not all expensive, but depends on what you're looking at.
This is like one of my shames, but I didn't really start paying attention to import beers or anything until probably a year or two before I moved to Europe. And in Virginia, at least, you could pick up like your most import beers for like half of what your craft beers or even your macro beers were costing. So that's interesting to see that the price difference is so drastic in different parts of the States.
Like I said, it depends on what you're buying, and like I said, I'm not familiar with overseas language. I mean, but it's just an aisle I haven't ventured down too much.
Yeah, I think that's pretty common in America, honestly.
Not that I'm against it, because I love beers from different countries.
Well, there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, there's so many good beers going on inside the United States that it's hard to even like pay attention to like what's going on everywhere else. I mean, why pick up something from a different country when your local brewery is producing something that's arguably just as good, if not younger?
I hear you. What BuMpY did one, what was it, about a month ago? Le Chouffe. I had that before, and that was a great beer.
It's a good beer.
I really enjoyed it, man.
Yeah, Le Chouffe's nice.
And a buddy of mine actually turned me onto that. He's like, I was giving him a ride home from work. He's like, hey man, let's go hit the bottle shop. And he's like, oh, I'm gonna get some of these. And I went to the house. He's like, here, have one. I'm like, man, that's pricey for what it is, but it was great beer.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And I'm not scared to spend a pretty penny. I mean, I've done it on quite a few beers, but it's hard to jump into something you don't know per se.
Sure. Yeah.
All right, we're gonna do an Imperial Dunkelweiss sour barrel aged brut stout next week.
I think Upland Brewing Company.
We're done.
Test me. I bet I can find one.
Upland Brewing Company.
That's gonna be a cuvee.
Beer man's having fun.
I like sours too, man. That the Ghost particularly. Some of them are good, and some of them taste Boone's Farmy to me.
Is Beerman possessed? I'm just what's he doing?
Beer man. Woo.
He's looking at the chart.
I was looking at my chart, man.
All right.
Tell what I want to do.
Figuring out what style to review.
I thought you were talking. I thought you were talking
I got
about
this
the
one.
little child ghost in your house or something.
No, man.
No, talking about the next.
That microphone's gone.
Part of me wants to force BuMpY to do a quad.
Hey, I'll do it. No, I'll drink a quad. Like I said, I like the flavors. It's just something about it that I don't know. It's just like.
What about an oatmeal stout?
I would
man?
defend it on a personal level.
I'm down with an oatmeal stout.
Ooh,
That
If
doesn't
you want to
sound
send
like
hate
a.
mail, send it to. No one gives a shit.
I was thinking about just black lagers. That could include Schwarzbier. That could include Baltic porters. There's like a lot of different types of black lagers that you can do.
Oh, shit. Black lagers.
That's true as well. I mean, leaves you wide open.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, I saw Thrash had I think Hefeweizen which that would fall under the German wheat. So we can definitely do German wheat. So let me write that down. That'll be one. I know that Anthony really wants to do a Bach style, so I'll write down Bach.
I gave up on the Bach last week.
What about a pale?
Oh, Bach you. Bach you.
Let's do a pale.
That's colors though.
Like a tradition, like what type of pale?
Pale ale.
Ooh, okay, all right.
Wow. Just
have you guys done like a red?
Just the category. So it's just a pale ale.
No, we haven't done a red ale yet. No.
Ooh, if we did reds, I know some cool shit.
I mean,
reds
we can
So
do a
reds.
English pale ale, an American pale ale, an
Yeah,
amber ale.
do.
Rides off that.
Well, if we do an
a
English
white
pale ale, I mean that pretty much just you want to do pale ale.
Whatever
I'm gonna write down Bach.
Whatever rides in that title of pale ale.
I'm gonna write down pale ale,
It goes,
and then I'm gonna write down, red ale.
Oh, red, nice.
So
That
that's
was-
gonna be
I
hard,
don't
man.
know.
You're gonna make me vote against Bach for red ales.
Yeah. So is that so we got German wheat, Bach, pale ale, and red ale. Is that good? Those a good 4.
Yeah, dude. That's good.
Yeah, I know that Eric's been trying to get German wheats in here for a while, and nobody votes on them. So
Yeah, I've been trying.
Nothing wrong with those. Those are great.
no,
German
yeah,
wheat would be
all
an
those
interesting
beautiful,
video. There's so
beautiful
many different
Hefeweizens,
beers.
and Weizen
Yeah.
beers.
Throwing out the damn channel.
Because when you talk about German wheat beers, you're talking Berliner Weisses, you're talking Goses, you're talking
Yeah.
Steiner
Yeah.
Weisses, Lichtenheiner Weisses, you're talking Dunkelweisens, Hefeweizens. Like, there's so
All
many
kinds of
Weisens.
Weisens.
Weizenbachs. We could meet in the
See-
middle.
So you gotta
Weizenbach.
pick one,
Yeah, do a Weissbach.
like a Malty Weizen.
Yeah.
My whole thoughts on it is to bring something to the show that you haven't done yet. And that's why I just asked, have you guys done a red?
New England Juice Bomb. We've already done a.
That was
I like your style, Ron.
Have we already done the New England IPA?
Oh yeah.
It could
Yeah,
be
we
any
did
of those
hazy IPA. We
categories.
did hazy
Make it
IPA
different.
already.
We got that out of the way early.
It's done. Yeah,
Nobody's
boss,
done a
done
South-
get it.
Nobody's done a Southwest IPA. Those are about, and I have no idea what those are about.
No
I'd
one's
like to
done
find
a
out
South,
more.
no one's done a Southeast IPA either.
We haven't
Southeast
done. We
either.
haven't done
Yeah.
specialty beers either
Southeast
with like
has its own unique
spices.
style.
We haven't done like the special.
It's
Yeah, the
still
special spice beers. It falls under a special category. There's no real
It does, yeah.
category for it. So
One's Cuban, one's Mexican.
oh,
Me
we got to do
personally,
the.
I like
we
wheat.
got to do the
I like
chicken
wheat
beer too.
ales.
You ever had the chicken beer?
Like a
Chicken beer?
Yeah, there's actually a recipe for it. You shove a full chicken in the freaking beer.
It's
Chicken
chicken.
beer.
It's chicken, raisins, thyme, and one other type of spice, I think, for traditional Viking cock ale.
What the? Whoa. Let's do it, beer man. Come on.
Oh boy, that's
Sam
funny
Adams.
though. That's cool.
Well, I think we got the 4 styles. So I've got to reach out to Drunken One. And if he doesn't want to do it, is there anybody else that has 1,000+ subs that can make a poll?
I can do it.
Sure, that guy. Yeah,
Beer man can do it.
So
I don't.
if Drunken One can't do it, I'll rely on Drunken One because he likes participation points.
Oh yeah.
Then
I've never done a poll before, so just just let me know. And I'll figure it
just
out.
don't put too much grease on it because you'll never get up.
Touche. Touche.
But so we got our 4 styles. So anybody that's watching,
Where is
look out for the
actually?
poll. It's gonna have German wheat, Bach styles, which Bach is kind of that's kind of one of those weird ones that gets tossed around to a bunch of different styles. But I can combine it. I can just look for everything that says Bach.
Blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
Make it easy.
We got the pale ale, which can be either English or American. It's just a pale ale or German. If there's German pale ales, I'll try to find whatever we can find through the BJCP guidelines under pale ale if that one happens to win. We also have red ale, which I will also do the same thing for. So, yeah, if there's any of those styles that you guys really like and you want to see them come up more recent than later, because eventually we will be landing on these styles that nobody wants to do, then please vote on them. You guys are the you get out and vote, rock the vote.
Vote or die.
Rock the
Yeah.
vote.
And we're doing this. This can be done. You don't have to show ID. I'm not asking where you live. So yeah, just get out there and vote. This can be done. This can be done with social distancing. So
Yeah, it is being done. No.
That's funny.
there's no excuse not to vote. That's what I'm getting down to, folks. But I want to thank my.
I do agree with
First off,
Eric.
I
though.
wanna
I want to do a
thank
wheat
the chat.
as well.
What?
Get that
I want to
thing-
do a wheat as well. I mean, it doesn't. You don't have to put it on this poll, but I agree with him. There's some nice wheats out there.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, we got
right.
German wheat. We got German wheat on the poll already.
Yeah.
Nice.
When the poll is built, we haven't built the poll yet. We're trying to get money to build the poll, but
Yeah,
it's coming.
it's not
We need
slippery
trash
yet.
bags of $1 bills.
All
But
right.
thank you guys so much to the chat, everybody that's been in the chat. If there's any of my regular folks that didn't join in on the panel tonight, stick around when I shut this off air, and you can join up on the panel afterwards, and we can figure something out what we're gonna do. But we can have a little after show shock. Thank you to everybody that was just viewing and watching, even if you didn't comment. And I always say this: hey, if there is a style that comes up, you guys aren't comfortable coming up on panel, but you still want to join along, listen to a little bit of the beer analysis at the beginning of what the BJCP says about it. Listen to the panel, what they're drinking, what they're tasting. Drink along with us if you have the beer style at hand. Just let's have fun, basically. Thank everybody for joining in. I want to thank my awesome panel tonight. Once again, it was Life is Brutiful, Anthony. We got Bearman, won't say his real name. We got Miscellaneous Magnets, and we got Eric, Thomas Metal 75, that joined in. And myself, I'm Bumpy Road, aka Jesse.
The most
So-
important one.
Well, I don't know. My name's Drew. In case everybody wants to know, I'm not
My
worried.
My name's fucking Steve, man. Come on.
Fucking Steve. Fucking Steve.
Hell yeah, miscellaneous power to it. Let everyone know your name. Yeah.
But yeah, cheers, guys. Hashtag Wheat 2020.
Yeah, man. It's gonna happen.
But yeah, if you guys ever want to join in, if you like the show and you have a beer that comes up that's to your liking and you have it available and you want to join the panel, I do throw the StreamYards into the chat. So even if you're not part of our Hangouts group, where I first start off with the StreamYards link, you can always join in off of the link that throws into the chat there. So yeah, you're not left out.
Yeah,
Unless
man.
you're not watching my channel, then you're left
Hey,
out.
man. Hit me up. I don't know if I can always make it, but
Yeah, no, I appreciate having everybody on that came on. This is Anthony's second time coming on. Miscellaneous, I want to thank you for joining up. It's awesome to see you again. Looking forward to tomorrow night. I haven't even got my cheese yet. I got to get that. Oh, Beer Man.
I got cheese.
Yeah,
I gotta sit.
Beer
They
and
had
cheese
that at
tomorrow
the
night.
store.
Beer and cheese tomorrow night on Beer Man's channel.
Yeah.
So what time are you starting it? Do Eastern Standard Time. So we all
I'll
know.
be 6, 7, 8 Eastern. I'll be on at 5. I'll have it ready. I've been late lately for my other shit, so I need to.
So 8 Eastern Standard Time, Beer Man's channel, Beer and Cheese. Same thing. If you guys bring a cheese, bring a beer, he'll more than likely let you on, unless you are gonna just, obviously
Keep it email if we can help it. Just go to my Instagram or my header has all the links. A lot of troll crap, so I don't want trolls. But just let me know what's up, or I'll put it in the back end as well for the back end people. So cheers.
Thanks,
BuMpy.
people. Cheers, no problem. Miscellaneous usually joins in as well. We'll do like a W. We're gonna make a W. Anthony, you got anything going on you wanna shout out? You got any videos coming up? Any interesting news?
Yeah. So on Monday, this upcoming Monday, I'll be releasing a video talking about the coronavirus and how it's impacted the beer world and the beer community and all that stuff. Additionally, I will be guest starring on a podcast for the first time next Sunday. So I'm pretty excited about that, and I'll be posting all that stuff on my channels. But that's pretty much all I got going on in my life.
Is the podcast in German?
No, in English, 100%.
Okay, cool.
Nice. Are you with other German people speaking English, or are you with English speaking people in the podcast, or is it just you, or how?
So the podcast is called 3 Beers In. It's a guy from America. He runs a pretty interesting podcast where he goes through and it makes me feel bad about myself because he does everything I do on my channel weekly. So
Wow.
he's pretty impressive. I really like his stuff, and I don't know why he wanted me as a guest, but he reached out to me. So I'm just excited. So shout out to that. I'm hoping it's successful because, God, I really like his stuff. So I'm hoping he wants me back.
That's awesome. All right on. Cool.
And Eric, do you have anything going on your channel, on life, anything in life? Any thoughts, last wishes?
I got no thoughts other than I think you and I, maybe other people in the United States, will have to go and get beer and get what we need sooner than later, because I know that in Massachusetts, I don't know when it is, but now the non-essential kind of stores, which would include a liquor store, are going to be closing down due to this sad virus pandemic. So make sure you get some beers. I know we don't really know a whole bunch about what we're doing until the very following Wednesday during the week of what kind of beer style we're going to do with BuMpy, but I think we'll try to do our best. Hopefully, maybe going forward, I don't know. I think what we picked for this week is going to be pretty easy to find regardless for styles. So
that's actually a good point that you bring up there, because yes, if the shit hits the fan and your host can't find a beer, as long as everybody else can find a beer, the show will still go on. I will just be the host. If there's just nobody can find anything because whatever, it's World War II and whatever's happening, then
if that happens,
I think maybe we'll just I'll just do a live stream and just do a live stream, and then we'll just we'll postpone it until the following week, and then depending on what happens, maybe it'll be postponed the following week. But I don't foresee that coming. I think that we can hit upon something. Or either that I will just come up with something I know we can all get and just get it out of the way, like an American Adjunct Blogger. All right.
I'm going to stay optimistic.
There you go.
Guys, we're all going to be able to get our stuff. It's not. They're keeping it open for us because self-quarantine. You got to have something.
Yeah. We'll do something. Like I think I like my last idea. If it comes down to it, where nobody can find any beers because craft beer stores are shut down because they're not essential, then like I said, if we can't get whatever wins in the polling, I'll just end up doing an American Adjunct Lager, get that one done and out of the way with, and that will be it. But I'll let everybody know ahead of time. Okay.
Got plenty of those.
All right.
Jeremy says we should do Charmin.
We're going to work on finding who's going to make the poll. The polls will be listed in the Hangout groups that we have. If you're within our Hangout groups, Google Hangouts. If not, it will be posted in the description on this video. So just go back periodically and check to see if the poll's there, and then you can vote that way. All right. cheers. I want to thank everybody for showing up. It's been a great night once again. This is it's becoming kind of fun.
Cheers, guys.
So
Very fun.
pre-gaming is it always works out for the best. I do advise it. Salute and thanks to everybody.
Prost. Cheers.
And stay with me, panel. If you want to stay on, we'll do a little after show hangout. And anybody else, John and Nelly, Thrash, anybody else that wants to join in, grab the link. If not, it's in our hangouts, guys. So just hit the StreamYards link. All right. Good night. Cheers, everybody. Come on.
Have a good one.
Cheers.